Discovery's 4 computers now have...
The number you have
We're sorry, the number you have dialed...
You what, mate? Captain Ubi?
Hi guys, welcome back to the table. Here I am with wonderful artist, Shaunie. Hi Shaunie.
Hey man, how's it going?
Very, very well, thank you.
You didn't tell me you were going to say wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And we're going to come on to that, and I'm going to justify it with proof and everything. Good stuff. Would you like to give a little short bio of who you are and what you do, Shaunie?
Yeah, sorry, I'm making sure my GoPro is
That's all right. That's all right. We got time.
Yeah, I'm an animator and a prop designer, and I like to illustrate stuff in my spare time. And that's about it, really. I've been animating for about 5 years, and it's fun. It's good. I like it a lot.
Yes, I've seen some of your stuff on Twitter or Insta, one of the two. There was a bean guy getting out of bed and getting dressed, and off he went.
Yeah, that was actually in this sketchbook. I was like in an art block, and I pick up this book, and I just get like a black pen and kind of just scribble and try not to be too precious about it. And the bean guy came from like, it's in here somewhere. Yeah, I just like drew a little. I had this idea for like him getting out of bed and then like going to pee and being so tired that he doesn't lift the lid up. I just thought it was kind of funny, and I was like doodling that. And then like him getting out of bed in his pants, I thought was a funny image. So I drew like a couple of frames, and I was like, oh man, there's like an animation here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it totally came from just like mindlessly doodling, you know?
It's brilliant. It had such character, and it moved wonderfully as well. Yeah, it's really, really nice to see.
Thank you. Yeah. That was actually hand drawn.
Sorry, say again?
That was hand drawn on my iPad.
That is fantastic. Yeah, is that the tech you're using today, or are you back to pen and paper?
I'll just use pen and paper today for sake of ease. Cool. But I use my iPad like every day. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it is wonderful tech, isn't it? Yeah, it makes it so portable to be able to do professional work on the camera.
Yeah.
It's mad.
I do most of my work in bed now.
Yeah.
Because I can. Yeah. I mean, before lockdown, when we were like traveling places, I would draw on the way to and from work as well.
Yeah.
So I would get like, it's like a long commute, so I would get a couple of hours in.
Yeah.
A day, which is kind of cool.
That's really, really cool. Yeah, I've done things on the train before. It always comes with a stop, and I've gone,
yeah, ink pens don't work. It's got to be.
Oh man, we had a good story. I don't know if James told it on the video. He was James Chapman we had on, who's a brilliant posca artist. You know the posca pens with paint inside the pen. He said he does loads of amazing. He's doing a film series actually on his Patreon and on Twitter. You should check that out if you haven't, guys. But yeah, he told a brilliant story where he was doing a posca drawing on a train once, and you've got to really shake the pens up. There is I've got some here. There, you've got to really push like that to get the ink down there, and he'd taken the lid off, and he just covered the guy next to him in pink paint, and he spots a pink paint. This guy with his shirt, and he's like,
what are you even supposed to say? Like, what are you supposed to do to fix that?
I don't know. Guy was not happy apparently. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I actually, like, in college we were always encouraged to draw people in public, you know, to do some life drawing.
Yeah.
And I remember my friend, like, he told me he was drawing someone on the train. They were like 10 feet away, and they walked over to him and asked him to stop.
Really?
And he thought he was being like covert, you know, and
wow.
He stopped right away, because obviously if you're making people uncomfortable, like, that's not the aim.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But like, I actually didn't think people would mind that much, that they would.
So, he's clearly in witness protection, that guy.
yeah, fearing for his life.
That's funny, because Rosie mentioned on her chat on here about that as well, drawing people on the train, and and then as soon as they noticed you had to move on to somebody else as like an exercise. So yeah, it must be quite common. But yeah, it's like any drawing, I guess, isn't it? The more you do it, the better you get, and you just got to keep on.
Yeah.
That's why we fill our sketchbooks, eh?
Yeah, I was never good at life drawing in college, so I didn't do it because I didn't want to be bad at it, you know?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And I kind of had this like, obviously I didn't improve then because I wasn't doing it.
Exactly, and a lot of people
That's what I'm
can't see cons, and they say, I wish I could draw. I mean, I love drawing, but I just can't do it, so I don't do it. I said, well,
Yeah.
maybe switch that round and do it, and then you may be able to think that you can do it, because everyone can draw. It's just different, finding your style and finding things that you like,
Yeah.
where you're comfortable doing it.
In fact, Ed, one of his songs that I think about it all the time, he said,
Yeah.
what was it? It's like every kid can draw and then they grow up and think they can't anymore. And I like
Yes.
it's so succinct and a
so
perfect way
true.
of putting it. Sorry, my dog is going.
Podcast. Sorry?
My dog is having a little wriggle on the landing.
Oh,
Hey
what
fella,
sort of dog do you have?
he's a little Bichon. Would you like to see him?
I'd love to see him. We
Hey,
love animals.
Come up. Come here. Come here. Oh.
We've had cats and tortoises, but no dog yet. Oh, wow.
There he is.
Look at that guy.
Hello. He's saying hello.
What's his name?
His name is Henry.
Henry. Hi, Henry.
He was at daycare today, so he's full of beans.
Oh, fantastic.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna close the door so no more interruptions.
We have a pup joining our household in a week and a half.
Oh, is it you're like getting it yourself or?
Yep. She's
Cool.
she is a currently 7-week-old golden doodle, but she's black.
Wow.
So, yeah, I cannot wait.
Expect to see some pictures.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll post them all over Twitter, I'm sure, and probably Insta, and maybe mail them to you directly as well.
Great. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a zine just to put all those dog pictures to use. You know, I've got like hundreds on my phone.
Yes,
I'm not going to post these all. So yeah, well, it could be a cool like free supplement. You know.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
send
That'd
stuff
be
out.
really fun. I think, if you could do something multimedia as well and take the pictures and draw over them or with them or something, I think you would do that really nicely.
It's a lot more work than I was
Yeah.
planning on putting in. I just wanted to show my dog off.
And why not? Absolutely. Good. Right. Okay, we're going to start our go. Actually, before we start, I can see you've got a drink there. Is that water? It looks like water.
Yeah.
Certainly a clear substance.
Yeah, nice big pint glass of water.
Yeah, good. I'll tick that off the list here. That is certainly one of the approved drinks on the channel. There's certain unapproved ones. We won't go into those right now unless you really want to.
I wouldn't know anything about them.
And have you had your dinner?
I have. I kind of rushed it. I snack a lot throughout the day and then I'm not hungry by dinner time, so that's what
What did you end
happened.
up having?
I had like these like meat-free burger things that
Yeah.
are normally pretty good when you pan fry them, but I just stuck them in the oven so I could run around and do stuff while they were cooking.
Right.
And they weren't as good as they have been, you know?
Ah, that's a shame. Have you tried barbecuing them?
No, I haven't actually. I mean, I've put them on a frying pan. That's as much as I've done. They'd be amazing
Try
barbecued.
I do that quite often because we like to have a little barbecue in the garden, and I put some of those on. Those incredible burgers or whatever they
Pasta
are.
or something. Yeah.
Those sort of things, and they are brilliant.
Yeah.
They're so
Yeah.
good. They're barbecued. Yeah, try that next. Anyway, back into the game. We've done our usual questions. We're going to find from the big gold box. Have you seen a big gold box like this before?
Haven't.
No, I mean, I think there's only one in the world that's just been specially spray painted. I mean, made of pure gold. Okay, today we are drawing a unicorn.
Okay.
That was suggested by Charles H. Raymond on the Twitter. Thank you very much for that, Charles. The unicorn is going to be a bodybuilder.
I'm going to write this down. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, unicorn, bodybuilder. Thank you, Andy CT, for that one. That's an interesting mix already. And finally, in a sandwich shop.
Oh, man. Backgrounds, come on.
Yeah, sorry. He has to suggest it. That was suggested, maybe unsurprisingly, by Deli Fresh Threads, who have a range of sandwich-themed T-shirts, which are awesome. Cool.
We'll just do them in a sandwich T-shirt then, maybe?
Will do, absolutely. Yeah. You could represent Deli Fresh on there if you want to. Good stuff. Away we go. This is it. That's our brief.
Oh boy. All right. And obviously, unicorns just look like horses.
Yeah.
So that's like easy.
Also, they're graceful, you know.
I forget what horses look like, to be honest. All right.
There's the sort of old thing that illustrators hate drawing is horses, cars, crowds,
Yeah.
and bicycles.
Yeah. No one knows what a bicycle looks like. from memory.
Don't, do they? I draw pretty much everything out of my head, and yeah, a bicycle, I just have no idea which bit connects to which or where a cog's going.
There's like a
Yes.
thing online where people were asked, draw a bike from memory, and it's just like these fantastic shapes.
It's nuts.
Do you use reference at all when you do stuff?
Very rarely, actually. I find it doesn't really work for me a lot of the time. I have to kind of come to it in my head. Yeah, it might take a few drafts of something, but I just try. Yeah, I just find it doesn't work as well when I do. Do you?
Yeah, for similar certain things, it's tricky to cartoonify, I guess. When you're drawing from reference, I find myself like I do it too realistic, and then I have to like work my way back from that. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's maybe where I fall down on it actually. Yeah.
Horses have ears. Crap.
Yeah, they have the ears and they stick up generally, like kind of pointy upwards.
They're straight, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Don't do it too big, otherwise you'll get a donkey.
There we go.
I've done that before.
There's like a famous like animation joke, movie scriptwriter joke, where it's like a scriptwriter it takes them like 2 seconds to type, a fleet of horses come over the hilltop, and then the animator's like, come on.
Yeah, a car arrives made of horses and bicycle wheels.
That's the thing about like doing stuff personally. If you find you're coming up against like a bit of a challenge, you can just change what the idea is, right? Draw something else.
I often do. Yeah. The villain is a crocodile. No, that's too hard. Now it's a chicken. Yeah.
It's a incredibly stylized chicken, I've decided. But like, I guess the difference is like when I do it for my day job, I don't get to make those decisions. So if I see something on the tracker that just like I know is going to be annoying and a pain, eventually I'll have to do it. I can avoid it,
That's it. Yeah, I've had to do that recently as well. I was like, I had a brief where the guy arrives on a horse, and I'm like, oh God, I've got to draw this big tall guy on a horse, man. It's going to be difficult.
Can you rollerblade instead?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you mentioned your day job. What do you do?
I work in animation, and at the moment I'm a prop designer. And
what does that involve? The props and animation, how does that come together?
It's funny, no one really knows. Like, I remember this is my second prop job, and I remember that, I told some friends the first time, like, I've started this new job, it's cool. And after like 6 months on the job, one of my friends came up to me and was like, hey, so like, are you making stuff out of wood, or like, what is it?
Well, it's the props, isn't it? So
yeah. So okay, I'm gonna move my camera. Hope I'm getting some good angles here.
I'm sure you are.
Basically, any object that the character interacts with is a prop, and it has to be designed.
Yeah.
And it has to be like designed in the style of the world, and so I do like turnaround for objects and stuff. So I'll do like a front view, side view, that kind of thing, whatever we need.
Of course, right.
So that's it. It's super fun, man. I used to think I wanted to be a character designer, and like seeing professional character designers work, it's like another level. It's like a kind of an understanding of design that I like don't have yet. It's super impressive. Like when you see people who are really good at what they do, and then I kind of found myself. I just fell into a prop role and like loved it. And
cool.
Yeah, so that's what I'm really happy doing right now.
That's awesome. And that's quite similar to aforementioned James Chapman, who worked at Brown Bag Films as a background artist.
Is that in Manchester?
Yes, it would have been. Yeah.
Cool. There's because like it was started in Dublin. There's a studio.
Was it? I did not know that.
Yeah. So Manchester was like their second studio, and now they've got Toronto and one in Bali, I think.
Oh, cool. So what sort of stuff are you working on?
In my day job.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's like a name. A lot of the stuff is like under NDA, so there's only so much I can say. Yeah. But it's not like I'm trying to like, trying to, I don't know, big myself up, make it sound like I'm working on something super important. I literally just don't know what I'm allowed to say.
Fair enough.
But I think it's like, for the first like 3 weeks on the show, I didn't know the name of it because the company website said something else and my contract said something else. So I had to like, in the middle of the workday, just be like, oh, hey, I have a question. What are we making? It's called Alva and the Trolls, and it's kind of, I think it's for 8 to 11, that age range, which is actually like quite old, because a lot of animation on this side of the world tends to be for like preschool, you know.
Yeah.
And then
absolutely.
kind of America gets a lot of the kind of older, cooler stuff.
Yeah.
It's just about like budget and audience, you know.
Right. Okay.
Oh boy.
That sounds fun. So will we see that on? Do we know where it might come? Is it Netflix sort of based, or what's the?
Not even sure. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I'm not even sure. And actually, it might not be something I'm allowed to say.
If you're not, then let me know,
Yeah.
and I will block that bit out.
But basically, a sort of, I just realized I never actually described the show. I can't draw and talk at the same time. I'm just learning. So I'm not really making much headway with this unicorn. Yeah, it's kind of, it's a show that's kind of like helping kids understand the internet, I guess. And so there's characters that live in the internet world, and there's trolls who live in, and they cause trouble, right? And you know, every episode is the trolls called trouble, and they have to like fix it, and they kind of learn a lesson at the end of it. And yeah, I think it's gonna be cool, man. It looks great.
Yeah, I can imagine. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's fun, you know. I started at the beginning of June, so I've been on it for about, 9 weeks maybe.
Yeah. What's your favorite prop to draw?
Oh God.
In the show, I mean.
I had to do some instruments recently, but because it's kind of like, because the show is sort of set in a version of the internet.
Yeah.
Things have to be kind of techie and like advanced looking, you know. So I kind of had some fun doing like kind of like digital looking ocarinas and like a synth guitar kind of thing, and yeah, that stuff is fun. I like drawing snacks as well, you know, like made up kind of junk food. That's cool.
Awesome.
And then my least favorite thing is vases, which comes up in animation more than you'd think.
Yeah. I've done a few in comic books. Yeah, I mean, why? Because they have to be symmetrical, both sides, and they have to be sort of.
Not even that. It's like, I like. There's infinite possibilities of shapes and designs and stuff, and I'm like,
yeah.
Literally every vase. This has happened like 3 times. I say this from experience. Every vase I've ever had to do, I've drawn like 15 versions of it, and just had to like narrow A/B test it to narrow it down to one. You know.
Just indecisive on your vases.
Yeah, it's like the one thing I cannot make my mind up about, you know.
That's nuts. And what about in your personal stuff, your drawings? I've got a few here. Let me introduce these here and now. Actually, while I'm here. So under my drawing cam, I'm going to show my 2 copies of Chump. I have issue 1. Here we go there, and number 2. So there we go. I can show you. I've got them as well, just to prove. I'll show you them. There you go. They are coming in and out. But yeah, these are wonderful. These are absolutely brilliant. I love looking at these. They're just so clean and crisp, and the drawings are absolutely beautiful inside them. Some really nice stuff. So have you got more of these, or are there more in the works?
Yeah, I finished a 3rd one in December. Jeez, like 7 months ago now.
Yeah, long time.
I keep thinking it was like last month. Yeah, I finished the 3rd one, and basically like I do one every kind of couple of years, and don't really plan it too heavily.
So they're partly autobiographical, is that right?
Kind of. They're sort of like tweets that wouldn't get very many likes, but I think if you attach a drawing onto it, it's like I just want like I want to elicit like sensible chuckles, you know, or like a
chuckles,
an exhale from the nose, like a. I don't want anything more than that. I'm not like kidding myself into thinking they're the funniest things in the world, but yeah.
Sensible chuckles. That could be a series.
That's I think that's like a realistic goal, you know. I don't have my sights set too high, so there's no real scope for like disappointment.
Nice. I love that. I can see a lot in there. There's lots of sort of humor in there that I maybe associate with other things. So maybe like The Simpsons and that sort of thing is an influence.
Sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Bob's Burgers.
Oh, Bob's Burgers, definitely. Yeah. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that show.
You know, it's weird. As an animator, I don't even necessarily watch that much animation.
Yeah.
I guess because like I'm doing it all day, I kind of want to switch off when I'm in my spare time, you know, and it means I miss out on a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And also, I just think on like being on this side of the world, it's harder to get access to like Cartoon Network shows.
Yeah.
A lot of them look amazing. Like Craig of the Creek looks amazing. I haven't seen any of it yet.
Oh, I don't know that one. Craig of the Creek. Okay, I'll look.
Oh, it looks amazing. There's a musician I like called Jeff Rosenstock, and he's the composer. And so I found it through him, and yeah, it looks unreal.
Awesome.
And I haven't seen any of it yet. But yeah, so like I feel like all my references are like old. It's stuff I grew up on, and kind of not really new stuff, which is like not it's not great. It's not ideal. As someone working in animation, I should kind of be up on this stuff, you know. But yeah.
No, that's also. I recently discovered or rediscovered Bravest Warriors is on Prime. Do you know that one?
That was Olin Rogers, right? Is that?
Is that the creator?
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe I'm
It
wrong.
was a Pendleton Ward, but I'm not sure.
Oh, that was like an internet show, right? That was a.
Yes, yeah.
What was the name of the channel? It's like. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I think I was watching it like week to week, and then I just fell off because I like forgot about it, you know?
Yeah, it's so good. I read all the comics a long time ago. I collected nearly all of them, not quite, but yeah, there's some collected issues, and then I used to get the comics week to week, and then yeah, I didn't realize the show was out when I was reading the comics, and then I've recently got the Amazon Prime, and suddenly yeah, it's all there, so it's super exciting.
Right. So even being in Ireland, a lot of stuff on Amazon Prime isn't available, you know?
Really?
I got a free trial because I wanted to watch Parks and Rec, and it's not available in Ireland. A lot of that stuff is like geo-locked. So
That's crazy.
Cancelled my trial.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Do you get bonus stuff, different stuff?
Not really. We kind of have like, I think we get what you get on Netflix, and that's kind of it. I have a friend living in Toronto right now, and I recommended this HBO special to her as a comic special, and she watched it like the next day. And it was 6 months before I got to see it. I hadn't seen it yet, but I was like, hey, I think you might like this guy. And she was like, yeah, I watched it because that's just possible here. Like, we can just do that.
Oh, man, it's too easy. It seems like there's so much, I don't know, disagreement, and things are a lot harder over here to get stuff. I don't know how or why that could be the case.
Apparently, it's like, it's down to your home country, right? That's where I don't mean England, I mean, if any of that stuff is geo-locked, it's typically not the fault of the country it's coming out of. It's like the issues in your own country.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know, extra frustrating.
Yeah. Sort it out.
How's your unicorn going?
It is there. It looks kind of weird, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's got some veiny muscles and things like that.
Oh man, you've gotten further than me.
I've even got to do some sandwiches.
Hang on one sec. Yeah, just did it. So that's the brief minute.
Oh yeah, you've done your minimum requirement there.
All right. Yeah, super cannot. Oh, I just drawn a donkey. Damn it! I got so close. The horn. That's what it is. You know.
That's it. That's what you mean.
I'm just learning that I really can't talk and draw at the same time. Oh, this guy looks furious. Oh, I've kind of drawn like a pig hybrid now.
I cannot wait to see this.
All right. Okay.
That's awesome. I get what you mean about drawing snacks. I enjoy snacks. I'm going to draw some snacks on here. I think my next one's going to be a baguette.
Your next challenge?
No,
or your next...
my next sandwich shop item.
Oh man, what if he was like lifting some big sandwiches?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, it's too late for me. I've drawn his hooves. Okay,
can he be a delivery guy? How do I work this?
Yeah, this is cool. This is fun. So how did you get into? Have you always drawn since a kid? Have you always been a passion? And then, any creative arts and.
I have asthma and couldn't play sports, and I always put it down to the fact that like I couldn't run around, so I would just draw on the sidelines, you know.
Cool.
I mean, that's probably like a romanticized reality. I like drawing. That was it. But people like to like assign reason to stuff.
That's a nice reason. Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, even now, God, like I've been drawing my whole life, and even now, it's probably more useful now as like a kind of therapy than it even was when I was a kid. You know?
Oh yeah.
Because like just when you grow up, you've got more going on, and just being able to switch off and kind of like dive into something and give that your attention.
Definitely.
God, it's so valuable. And that's like, the value of that is not even something I realized until recently. I'm super glad to have it in my life, if not even just for that reason,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I get it. If I don't draw, I haven't had this in a little while because I do make sure I draw a lot now, but I did have times where I suddenly, after a few days or something, and I hadn't been drawing, I suddenly started to feel weird and
me too, like tetchy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really like that. Yeah. And I go, what's up with me? And I sit down with a bit of paper and it just floods out. And I filled like 2 pages and go,
yeah.
Oh, that was what was wrong.
Yeah. It used to be that if it went any more than kind of 4 days, totally, I would just feel weird.
Yeah, that's it. It's exactly it. I've never had anybody, well, I haven't said it to many people.
No, me neither. It's kind of cool to hear it echoed back at you,
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. I think it is, and a lot of the time I do feel that if I draw too much, I kind of run out, and I'm kind of like, I can't really do this. It's not coming out like it normally does. So I often think of it as like I don't know, I don't want to say a potion, but some sort of refillable like vat inside me, and it fills up with stuff, and I've got just enough to pour out onto a page. If I use too much, it runs out, and if I've got too much in the vat, then it starts coming out in bad ways within me. So I think
it's difficult to balance that, right? With like all the rest of the life stuff, like because I kind of find when I get into a rhythm, I don't want to stop, and then that can lead to like what you were just talking about, that your kind of tank running out and a bit of burnout setting in,
Yeah.
There's an illustrator. Do you know Jake Parker? He started Inktober.
No. Oh, hang on. I know the name. Once you said he started Inktober, yes, I know who you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
So I don't know if he does anymore, but he used to post a lot of videos just kind of about his like, I guess his like philosophy on working, kind of, if you want to call it that. And so there's a couple of things that like I think about a lot. Finished, not perfect is like one of his mantras, which I think is amazing.
I say that. I heard. Who did I hear say it? Dan Berry.
Yes. What is it? He's a podcast that's like make it and then show.
Yeah, make then tell.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, make it then tell everybody.
Yeah, I knew
one of the two. Anyway, he's great.
Yeah. And his work is super like. There's a lot of. I think mine suffers from like tightness a lot of the time, and his work is just super loose and fun. And
it is very, very loose stuff. Yeah, I've got some over here.
It is one of his here.
Lovely stars. But yeah, yours is very clean and crisp. It's
that's something that I default to, but don't always mean to. I would like a lot of the time love to get away from that, but I find that if I stop paying attention to it, I do kind of tighten up again. Yeah. So it's like, it's funny. I mean, it's like a grass is always greener thing. People say to me like, God, your line work is so clean. And I'm like, I wish it wasn't. So I'm trying my best. I kind of recently, my friend sent me a couple of kind of fuzzy, like pencil-y brushes. And I'm trying to work a little bit looser and just make it feel a bit more organic again.
I saw yours had a bit more of a texture to it.
Yeah, because I never do any of that stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the look of it. I think I'm not quite there yet, but it's a way to stop being so precious, and just loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
I really like that, finished, not perfect. I don't always stick to it, but it's kind of handy to have there in the back of your head.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it kind of gives, it allows me to have an excuse to stop doing something. Or if a page isn't working, it's stuck on a page on me.
Yeah.
I'm doing too much. It's not working. Just move on. I think
that's it. Anything to just get past it. And if you can convince yourself that you're happy with it, like that's fine. That's half the battle.
I did it recently, which was what was supposed to be a big panel in a comic I was drawing. But luckily it was my own comic, so I could do what I wanted with it. And I was like, right, fine, this isn't going to be a big panel because it doesn't look nice. I'll just take a bit of it that I'm happy with, and it's going to be a small panel, a thin panel there. And I'll just put that in because that's what I'm happy with. And then you move on, and you think, yeah, okay, that's going to be fine. You know, it's not going to be.
And nobody knows the original, right? Like
exactly. Yeah, I might have planned that.
But I think definitely you can kind of get so hung up on your own thing and like getting so in your own head and like you know what you're doing the most like intimately, you know what I mean, out of anybody else in the world. So like
absolutely,
you feel like everybody's interpreting it the same way, but the reality is people kind of like take your stuff in for a couple of seconds and move on.
Exactly.
Really. So like it has to just be for you, right? Yeah, exactly. No one kind of, I mean, I hope no one pores over your anatomy or whatever, because like,
God, I'd
who
be
cares?
devastated to hear they do.
Yeah. Oh, you know, another, I talked about, Jake Parker has a couple of sayings that I like. The other one is he talks about your creative bank account and how you have to, it's like your creative bank account or your creative gas tank, one of those. And the idea being that you have to like take influences in and fill that up. And yeah, like you said, when, you know, it gets to the point where you're kind of running on empty and you can't make anything. And it's like I go through art block every so often. I'm still trying to like struggling to understand where it comes from and what it is. And I think part of it is just it gets to a point where I'm not really taking in anything new, so I have like no fresh references to work from and that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. If I haven't read a comic in a while, I haven't looked at a book that I love the art in, it can go stale. And it can also actually help with I don't know, perspective or layout and that sort of stuff. If you see other people doing it, I think it naturally sort of goes into your head a bit more.
Yeah. You know, I used to work with a background artist in my old job, and I sat down with her one day and she talked through her process of like environment design and that kind of thing. And
oh wow,
God, I think I learned more from that. I don't know what it was, half an hour conversation than like I ever have from perspective books and that kind of thing.
Fantastic.
Just the way she described, you know, she was given, this is the character, she had to design like the key background for the bedroom.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I think this character would like this type of movie because she's this type of personality. So like, just even down to, I mean, if there's background artists listening to me say this, they're probably nodding along like, yeah, that's what you do. That's what the job is. But it's not something I ever considered. It's like just down to the choice of furniture based on that character's preference. I think they would like this over this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. When you like go in search of like, you mentioned background specifically because it's really something that I kind of struggle with.
Yeah.
I find it hard to like populate a room with stuff that feels natural and lived in, you know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And there's, you know, there's a jumper on the floor and that sort of stuff. It's just like, you know, those sort of things. It is hard to do, and creatively, it's hard to think about. I read something the other day that somebody, I think it must have been Twitter, but somebody put a link to something that said you got to ask either 3 times or 4 questions why. I think, you know, this character is going to feel you know, this way about this thing. So he's going to be like, you know, I think he's going to have a thing for prawn sandwiches because I'm drawing a sandwich shop. And you go, okay, why? Okay, well, maybe because he grew up near the sea. Okay, why?
Yeah.
Okay, because maybe his dad was in the Navy, and maybe that's why. Okay, why? And then okay, the family didn't have much money, so that's why. Okay, so then now you've got a whole reference. You've got a slightly poorer family who's in a situation where the dad's in the Navy, so he might be away a lot, but they live by the sea, so they've got all sorts of other references there. Okay, how else does that filter into his personality, that sort of stuff? So automatically, just from asking those questions, you've set up a real background.
And it's cool because you only need like a couple of details to really work off of, right? Exactly. It's just like it's enough to jump off of, kind of.
Definitely. If I find that absolutely fascinating, so these tricks for narrative, it's amazing. You know, whenever I see writers working or hear about, you know, what the things they go through, I just think it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I brought up the background stuff. That like when you see people, I guess I'm thinking about this a lot lately because like in animation it's so collaborative, so you're always working with people who are like the best at what they do, you know.
Yeah.
Like the character designer on the show is the best out of everyone at designing characters, and like seeing them work and just hearing them talk and ask questions. Oh, should this be that, and that kind of thing. Like flagging questions when we're doing like animatic reviews or that kind of thing. It's like, God damn, these people they understand. Like they're so good at what they do. Wow. And I just I'm always really blown away by watching like professionals be professional, you know.
Yeah, I get it, absolutely. What's an animatic review?
Do you know what an animatic is?
Nope.
Okay, so the sort of basic pipeline of animation is writers write a script.
Yeah.
And then that script comes into us, and we break it down in terms of characters, props, backgrounds, and effects. So before animation begins, you're in a phase called pre-production. So animation would be production, and the pre-production is the designing, you know.
Yeah.
So we kind of put together a concept pack, and it's so for like if the script calls for a ball and a hat or whatever, I'll draw up a ball, I'll draw up a hat, and then the background artist will draw a sandwich shop or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then that gets put into a concept pack or a fun pack. It's called a bunch of things. Design pack. Did I say that? That gets sent off to a storyboard artist.
Yeah.
Who kind of, I guess storyboarding and comics are not, you know, worlds apart necessarily.
Yeah, I can see the similarity, certainly, yeah.
Yeah, so they're placing the camera and figuring out composition and that kind of thing. And then once the episode is boarded, that comes back to the editor takes that and like times it out so that it's a watchable movie.
Right.
So it's, you know, the reason you don't go into animation straight away is because you don't know if it's working yet, and you need to kind of pay attention to pacing and all that kind of thing. So it's quicker and cheaper to draw some like rough, you know, drawings of the scenes and sort of make sure it's working first.
Yeah.
Before you go into production. So the editor basically takes those boards and puts the dialogue to it, or music and sound effects and that kind of thing. All the boards, I think, on the we did our first animatic review on the show I'm on recently, and the first animatic came to 15 minutes, and the episodes are only 10, so the editor had to go through and like gut a third of it and somehow make it still work, you know.
Oh man, yeah. And if you'd animated all of that already,
exactly, right? Yeah. So
time. Yeah.
I mean, like animation budgets are, you know, the schedules are tight and the budgets are small, so there's not a lot of room for, you know, things need to move like a well-oiled machine, you know. So there's not time to kind of fiddle around with stuff like that for the most part. So basically, to answer your question about what an animatic review is so as the design team watches that animatic, and now we're seeing that the bucket that I designed is thrown up in the air, and we see the underside of it. So now I need to draw the under view, you know, and so it's kind of like fleshing out the designs to then give to animation so that they have stuff to work with. Animatic reviews can be like 2 hours where you watch the episode. Usually you'll watch it through once and then watch it through again. And like if anybody has a question, it'll be paused, and so you might only move like 5 seconds at a time, like, oh hey, what about this thing? Cool, that's great, keep going. Oh, actually I have a question about, you know. So it's everyone from the design team on the call. So it's just hearing people bring up things that may be issues, you know, ahead of time, kind of a lot of it is just preempting problems and sort of trying to fix them before they become issues, you know.
Gotcha.
So just hearing people ask those questions and like just what people think to ask and stuff, you're like, it's cool. Well,
like I say, it's giving you an insight into what to look for in your work, and it's giving you a really good experience, I guess. That's awesome. So what do you want to do personally? What's are you aiming to do some stuff you know, later on with more chumps or more longer form stuff, or might you move into some more animation, or are we going to get long form comics or graphic novels, or any plans?
God, you know, lots of plans and also no plans. You know how it is, right?
Absolutely, lots of ideas, but not many actually going. It's like a lot of it is just working out which ideas are worth sticking with
you know. I
Yeah.
kind of like Chump because there are no long form comics in it. The third issue that I put out has like a 4-page thing in it, and I think a couple of 2-page ones. That's the most I've ever done.
That's
you
a
know?
bit much for me, Shaunie.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to get through those.
I like one panel comics, like a
Yeah.
a New Yorker gag, you know.
know.
Your attention span, you wouldn't be able to stick to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get it.
It's going to be a 6-night one, that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the reason I tend to do like 1-page things is just because I get bored and I like to move on.
I know
do
that
something else.
so well. I've just did last year. I did my first long form comic of the same continuous story. I've done lots of Captain Fishbeard, which are 1 page, 2 page, even 3 pages sometimes of a book, but it's all a little story with a series of jokes rammed in, basically.
Yeah. That's cool.
That was fun, and that is really, really fun. So I was doing one a week and putting them on Webtoon. So yeah, you automatically sort of build a book. Once you've done 6 months worth, you've got a book of short comics there, which is brilliant, and I love those. And I'm really pleased with the work that I've done through the Captain Fishbeard books. But I really wanted to tell a longer form story, so I did The Misadventures of Spring-Heeled Jack, which was my first sort of 30-odd page comic, and it was a different experience altogether. And there were times where I was like, oh, I've got to draw this character again.
Yeah.
I love it, and it's nice, and I like the world and stuff, but I don't want to draw it all again. It's
funny as well because like you are the one in charge of those decisions, and like sometimes it feels like, why am I putting myself through this?
Yes.
Like I'm drawing this thing again that I find difficult and excruciating. Like
exactly.
There's no one else to blame, you know.
No, exactly. It's like, oh, that guy, that boss.
The thing about like longer form stuff as well is if you get 28 pages into a 30-page story and decide you don't like it or don't want to finish it, it's like, oh God, you know, are these 28 pages are waste now, you know?
Yeah. Well, it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, I guess that's where Finish Not Perfect comes in.
Yeah.
Wrap it up with Stickman, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Wrap it up and just have done with it. So yeah, originally Spring-Heeled Jack was going to be a 6-issue thing, and it still might be. I just don't know where I'm going to go with it at the moment. I think it could be a 3. You know, I have got story to tell. It's just whether I've got the motivation to keep drawing it.
Yeah.
And I do wax and wane. Sometimes I love it, and sometimes I'm bored with it. So it'll get done eventually.
I definitely want to make more chumps. I have this like, you know, I started making them because there's a musician that I like called Jeffrey Lewis, and he makes his own comic called Fuff. And I used to think that if you're going to do a comic, you have to be churning it out, just because that's what I see from people.
Yeah.
Like, gosh, is that what is expected?
Yeah.
And then I went to a Jeffrey Lewis show, and his merch table, I think he made 10 issues of this comic in 13 years or something.
Yeah.
And 13 years sounds like a really long time, but when you see the 10 comics on the table, it's like, God, that's a body of work, you know?
Yeah.
And it really made me realize that you can just chip away at stuff and do it slowly. So I have this like idea in mind that I absolutely love, which is if I do make a chump every year or 2 for the next 10 years, like as it stands, I've done 60 pages of it over the last like 4 or 5 years. And that's cool. That's like that's significant
a chunky book.
Chunk it is, right?
Yeah.
And like, I just keep thinking down the line, I don't know, 5-10 years, I could make like a best of kind of, and put all of the chumps that I've done together, cut out some of the ones that I'm not like so happy with.
Yeah. And
just have like a chunkier book that I'm really, really proud of, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What a great idea. I think that's a
kind of
thing.
And that's just something I'm slowly working towards. It's not like an active thing necessarily.
So yeah, you don't have to necessarily be doing that all the time then. Yeah.
And then actually there is like one other thing which is really similar to what you just said in terms of you know, kind of short pages with kind of running like gags, that kind of thing, like a short small story. I love drawing bands making up musicians.
Oh cool. Yeah.
For like the longest time, I mean, maybe like a year, I've been planning Well, that's the thing. I'm trying to work out if it's one of those things I'm going to go ahead with, or if it's one of those things that actually should just exist in my head and I'll never actually follow through on. But my idea was like to do like a 40-year retrospective of this rock band from like the time that they were teenagers. Kind of like, I mean, it's been done, right? Like Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
And there's some other movie I cannot remember the name of. But there's a documentary about a real band who kind of get back together and go on tour, and it's this like disaster. The lead singer's really aggressive and keeps getting into fights and stuff, and it's like a real life Spinal Tap, you know. But yeah, I love those like fake kind of biopics, like what was it, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. You ever seen that?
Seen that? No.
Oh man, it's like John C. Reilly's kind of, it's a spoof of who's that country singer?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash. Yeah, it. So it's kind of like.
You said Walk Hard. I was like, that sounds Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Well, Walk the Line, right? That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's something hard as well in his. Is there something hard? There is something hard in one of his. Anyway, I know that sounds awesome.
Yeah. So, like, I'm kind of originally they were like going to be this like hair metal band.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be super fun to draw.
So fun, right? The costumes, like stage design and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but I just drew these characters the other day, and they're like teenagers in the like, I guess late 2000s.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking, God, well, that doesn't really work with because if I put these kids into 1980, maybe I could dress them differently. I don't know. It's like. There's a lot of questions. It's something I'm still working out.
I see what you mean. Yeah, there could be. Yeah, some of them will be. Yeah, you have to sort of kind of reinvent them in different styles and.
Yeah, that was kind of something.
Go in different ways.
I was looking forward to that. You know, the idea of kind of designing them at different stages of like different ages. And,
it's a kind of indie and kind of punk and going through like.
And you know, going through, you know, going from 18 to like 55 or whatever it is at the end of the story.
Horrible early noughties fashions with like trousers and
bucket hats and like breakaway
massive t-shirts.
See, I don't know, you know, the basic idea I have, like outside of all of these decisions, is it would just be 3 or 4 pages, like snapshots from different times in their career. And I kind of, you know, one of the kind of a big question to ask as well is, are they a famous band or not? Did they ever get anywhere? Like, what does that look like, you know?
Gotta get that.
Yeah, so that's just something I'm really interested in and would love to chip away at for years if that's what it takes, and make some kind of coherent story.
Oh man, you come up with a really good name for them and names for their albums.
That's the thing, album design and that kind of thing. But my friend gave me a band name that I started a band and called them Kitten Spit. And we haven't done a whole lot in a while, but that is the name I'm going to use, I think.
What kind of music is it?
Well, the real Kitten Spit.
The real Kitten Spit.
My friend Suzanne and I joked that we play heart punk, which is like, because there's a band, Illuminati Hotties. I think they call themselves tender punk, which is like thrashy songs about feelings, you know.
Nice.
And, so we came up with heart punk like way before I'd even seen that, and I really love like weird genre names that only kind of describe like band. Like my favorite band is AJJ. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
No, I don't.
Most people haven't, to be honest, and that's not like a hipster thing. I really wish people did. I just think they're like kind of obscure and like not likely to go mainstream in terms of popularity, you know. I would love them to, but so they're from like, I think Phoenix, Arizona is where they started, and I've heard them be described as a desert trash, something like that. Desert pop or something. I love, they use like kind of in that similar way to like Neutral Milk Hotel, but like fuzzy distorted acoustic guitars.
And kind of I'm gonna have to look these guys up. That sounds great. But that could be with like an
Make you play.
ongoing joke within your comic. They go, this new album,
Yeah.
it's not in our old sound anymore. No, this is sort of Orphan Fields. This is,
Yeah,
you make
yeah.
up a whole new turn every time,
Yeah, because even I've got all these scenarios rattling around, no coherent story yet, no kind of like timeline for it, but just gags that I'd like to include.
That's a good idea.
And one of them is like
love it.
the moment where they name the band, or like there could be all these references to, there could be, oh, I thought we were this, like, no, dude, that was last week, now we're whatever. And they don't actually become Kitten Spit until halfway through or whatever it is.
Yeah. Absolutely love that. Yeah, it's a really good idea. There's so many fun jokes you can get. Yeah, running things as well, which will become funny again and again and again.
I just kind of have to find stuff that Spinal Tap hasn't done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I find myself writing stuff down. I'm like, oh no, wait, I'm 100% just stealing this.
Yeah. I often do that. Write something down and go, hang on a minute. I'm gonna have to Google this now in case just to see if I've stolen it or not.
Oh, the reason it sounds so great is because The Simpsons did it in 1996, like that kind of thing.
And it was great. They nailed it.
yeah, they did it better than I would have. I'll let them have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I've got a unicorn kind of drawn here. I went a bit of a different direction. He's a buff sandwich delivery man.
Okay, I like it.
I like, I've been drawing on my iPad so much that I keep trying to pinch zoom the page.
Yeah. Oh, I do that as well all the time. Yeah.
Oh,
Come on. I need to zoom on this. That is, I cannot wait to see yours. It sounds like it's a very imaginative. It's actually got a context as well. It's working with the background, whereas mine could be anywhere. He happens to be in a sandwich store, but he's just standing in a sandwich store, giving it the sweet justice.
That sounds incredible. I like that description of it. I don't know what the sweet justice is, but I'm excited to find out.
Actually, it's not. I think the sweet justice is the one where you go in like a crab like that.
Oh, it's a move. Oh, I thought you were describing like his vibe.
That is the classic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I made some attempts at that, but I quickly abandoned them because it wasn't working. I think one pretty valid criticism of this is he looks more like a donkey and a pig.
Okay. Pig donkey guy. That's fine as well.
Well, unicorns don't exist. We don't know what they actually look like.
Well, we're not sure they don't exist. We're not sure.
True.
Who knows?
But I mean, until there's photographic evidence, I'm going to take some artistic liberties here.
Absolutely right. Yeah, we don't know what does and doesn't exist until we can empirically prove it either way. So yeah, we have to reserve judgment and say that a unicorn might have red highlights in its hair, like mine has in its blonde hair.
I'm picturing Furious D, the Simpsons. Furious, is it Duncan?
Oh yeah.
Racehorse, yeah.
The Simpsons has done everything, haven't they?
Yeah, it's wild, man. Would you consider them like an influence of yours?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Although I probably watched The Simpsons, apart from when they first sort of hit the UK, when I drew them all the time. It was kind of during a fallow period for my drawing that I watched the most Simpsons. But since I've been starting making comics, I think there's a lot of the style has come into that, and especially the style and sort of timing of jokes and stuff is. A lot of my humor is learned from there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How to time.
Very same, yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's really interesting. The Simpsons has like the cultural impact that it had on Ireland is, I mean, obviously the world. My own experience is Ireland, but
yeah, of course.
Like people my age, I think are like, maybe I was a little young to have like experienced peak Simpsons when it was airing, but people like just a couple of years older than me would have experienced it. But I think like it had this like profound impact on people my age where I mean, I'm sure it's not unique to a lot of countries, but you can really just have whole conversations through like quoting that show,
Do you know, that's weird. I think there's definitely an Irish made comic, I think I've seen, of people doing just that. having complete conversations. It's quite a long form thing of just Simpsons quotes backwards and forwards. Yeah, I'm sure that was an Irish creator.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'll see if I can look it up, and if I can find it, I'll send it on to you.
There's a meme page called the Irish Simpsons fans or Ireland Simpsons fans.
Oh, really?
They have like thousands of followers, and a couple of the original writers know about it and that kind of thing. Like, I guess, yeah, the reason I bring that up is because, like, my question is, I mean, unless you know what the Irish experience is, you can't really maybe comment on it. But, like, was the impact in England that big?
I mean, I've got a different generational experience to you because I'm around 10 years older, I think, judging by your Skype username.
Yeah.
So I'm around 10 years older. So it really was when it hit in the 90s, it was just huge. I think a lot of American stuff was huge. We'd had and embraced, MTV and all those things. Like things like the Fresh Prince was huge, and we watched. I personally, as a kid, just watched so many questionable American series. So it was Saved by the Bell, and it was Sister, and it was The Cosby Show, and it was loads of those things. It was just American culture was hitting everything. And then I suppose The Simpsons came into that as part of that, but it was also something that was, for my age group. So it was just like, wow. And my friends were huge about it. And but I didn't have the Sky. We didn't have Sky in my house, so I didn't have the channels to watch it. So my friends would videotape it and bring that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, and we watch it all together, and it's just like, yeah, this is amazing.
That's very cool. That is like such an active thing that you have to go through. Like if you're doing that for a show, you want to watch that show.
Oh, yeah,
it's not a passive like, oh, maybe I'll catch it if it's on.
Yeah.
If you're going through the trouble of taping it, Geez, when I was growing up, it was on 4 times a day, every single day. It was on 6 o'clock, 6:30, and then 7 o'clock. Sky had 2 episodes.
Of course.
So like,
yeah,
it's like,
man, it's wall to wall.
Yeah,
it was really the day when I started really, really watching it loads, and it was just the easy thing to have on in the back. That's why you saw the same episodes like 4 or 5 times, so you can almost quote them because it's such a massive body of work.
Then there would have been less, so maybe the chances of like getting because like now there's a lot more not so great Simpsons than there is great Simpsons.
Yeah, there's that sort of middle, not even middle patch, I suppose it's early to middle, which is absolute gold, because the early stuff's just too hard to watch. It's too hard.
The first season 3 is definitely, I think people, or maybe 2, right? People would say is the start of the golden age of the Simpsons.
If you'd asked me, I would have said 3. But
because
it may be 2. I don't know.
Well, I think 2 still had that pretty rough style. Like 1 was pretty hard to watch, just in terms of like, Although I like when a car would come around the corner and just wobble, like
that
was
like
kind of cool.
Charm to it. It's like a rhubarb charm. Yeah.
I kind of lost my train of thought there. I think season 2 was still a bit rough, but starting to come into its own. But I guess like the likelihood now of maybe just percentage wise, there's less of a chance of getting like a good classic episode, because there's, I don't know, 18 seasons of
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that there's there will be Simpsons fans and fanatics who will be able to tell you a huge amount better than me, but from my point of view, it's when you see the change from it being about Bart to being about Homer. And it's because the early ones are Bart does this, Mr. Burns runs over Bart, and it's always him. And then suddenly it kind of morphs into all the episodes are around Homer and his work and his relationships and his time in the bar and that sort of thing. And it really does change. And I think that it's one of the markers of it getting really, really good. And I suppose one of the early ones, where they do the Pulp Fiction episode. I think it's like
Herman's Military Antiques. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of the earliest ones I remember seeing, actually, when it was around on that time, and just being blown away by it. Obviously, I hadn't seen Pulp Fiction by this point. It was just a very funny episode, and then obviously looking back on it, having watched the film, you think, oh gosh, yeah.
It's funny to watch Pulp Fiction then and be like, oh, they're referencing The Simpsons.
Exactly.
No way.
Exactly. Yeah. You got Chief Wiggum crossing the road going, "Don't nuts, I got told." Hey, I know you.
Yeah. That's 27 short stories, I think.
27. That's it. Yeah, well done. That's it. Oh, that's magic.
Oh, yeah. Geez, I'm really starting to flag. It's been a long day.
Don't worry.
I'm like losing my train of thought and then getting it again at like 20 seconds later, which is pretty good going.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is like I remember being just absolutely like fanatical about The Simpsons when I was probably like 8 or 9 when I was doing this, and this musical episode came on TV that I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
And I was like furiously writing down the words so that I could know the song, because there was no YouTube and there was no way of rewatching it. So I was
Which
like,
one was it? Do you remember which?
I think it's literally just like a clip show, and Snake breaks into their house.
Yeah.
And the Simpsons are.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even remember the story, but they're like.
But it's
I think,
flashbacks, isn't it? Yeah.
and they kind of set it up through song, and then it plays a clip.
Yeah.
And
he ties him up, and he's out the window, and and then what? Yeah.
I think like clip shows were mostly just. It was a little bit easier on the schedule, right? To just reuse a lot of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But then I guess they made it a musical, so maybe not. But yeah, I remember like I had just like sheets of A4 paper and a ballpoint pen, like racing through in like huge childish writing, trying to get all that stuff down so that I would know the songs,
That's magic. Yeah, that's a good thing to do, isn't it? To be so obsessed, you just have to go for it. And
there was such a panic in it, Man.
That is awesome. But then, I think it was just when they showed them just every day on I think it was BBC Two, then Channel 4, and it was just you stand up seeing the same ones again, so you just know the songs. You just know them rote. It's all things like. I was going to reference Planet of the Apes and that sort of stuff that I haven't actually seen the original of, but
me neither. Yeah. The song. The songs from the musical in that.
Yeah.
Is that the Dr. Zaius one? That's that, right?
Yes, it is, yeah.
It was like, oh my God. I mean, every episode of The Simpsons, like, a point at something and say, that's my favorite piece of animation from the show. But there's during the Dr. Zaius song, some of the apes start like breakdancing, and it's like a 5-frame loop or something. It's crazy looking. Oh, but it's so funny. Like, oh, man.
Oh, do you know what blew my mind? It's the one where Homer goes 3D. He goes into the portal and he's suddenly in a that blew my mind.
Yeah, is that a Halloween episode? Maybe I'm wrong in saying that.
It's what, sorry?
I think it might be a Treehouse of Horror episode.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Man.
He ends up in the real world at the very end. He sees an erotic cake shop.
Is there a bit where he like passes his cartoon hand through some kind of like veil, and he's like, look, that is.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Yeah, it's nuts.
Because I definitely remember being a kid and just thinking like, how do they do that?
Yeah.
Homer must be real. There's no way that you can just draw that. Don't.
That's awesome. Yeah, we owe a lot to those guys. How's your drawing coming?
Pretty good, I think I've been finished for a while, and now I'm overworking it.
Same. Should we collectively stop?
Yeah, normally I don't draw straight with pen. I like do some rough layers of pencil and stuff, so I didn't expect much to come out of this, but pretty happy actually.
Good. I cannot wait to see it. Obviously, everybody at home knows what it is already, and they're laughing at mine and wondering at yours. But we're not finished. We're going to put this aside.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we did this on the ones that you have seen before, but if not, this is a nice surprise. We're going to do one quick thing before we stop, and I'm going to pull out of my very special mug of animals. We have, great, okay. Queen of Amazing on Twitter has suggested a tardigrade.
Oh yeah, they're cool, like
one of those
insects. Yeah.
Explain to me what it is.
As far as I understand it, they're like micro, tiny, minuscule insects that can survive space. That's all I know about them. They look crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know Paper Girls, the graphic novel?
Yeah.
There's, I think, like book 3 or 4. There's like giant tardigrades in that. If you've ever
They
seen it.
are amazing. They're often called water bears or moss piglets.
Oh, that's gross. I can't do that's too descriptive. Holy moly.
They're amazing. Well, I'm pleased you know about them because we're going to draw them with our eyes closed.
Okay, cool. Okay. So I was about to pull up a reference, but obviously not.
Look at a reference before you can
Okay.
close your eyes. Yeah, please do. I don't have
they're
to
grotesque.
I have seen one. They are the most weird, crazy, cuddly, cute.
Some of them
odd
look
thing.
like futuristic military vehicles, right?
Yes.
Like if you like photoshopped a guy standing next to them, it would be like,
Yeah,
oh, that's like some sort of
shell of a
tank thing. Yeah. Or like a
definitely.
Batmobile or something.
Yes. Wow.
Uh,
Everybody at home, if you haven't seen one, you
Ah.
need to Google tardigrade. TARDIGRADE now, so you know what we're doing, because these things are nuts. Don't have nightmares.
I feel like I should say they're grotesque and
Yeah.
be prepared for that. And if you don't want to look at something grotesque, maybe decide not to.
Yeah, good, well done, Shaunie. That is a good warning. Little trigger warning there.
Yeah, because I'm not a spider fan, and as soon as people find that out about you, they send you images like, yeah, I still don't like them. Thanks so much.
But the faces, it's doing a little ooh. Okay, right. I'm gonna
So-
draw water bear.
Is the idea that it's a blind drawing in that we're looking at reference and drawing, or we're just closing our eyes?
Close your eyes and go for it. I recommend holding your paper or putting your hands on your paper so you know where it is, because I've lost it a few times before.
Try to get it on my desk.
Yeah, exactly. So then close eyes and away we go.
Okay. All right. Oh boy, I'm lost.
Yep, totally lost already.
As long as you get that ooh mouth in,
Yeah, oh yeah.
I can feel like I haven't done a good job with the teeth, you know?
Teeth.
They kind of have little teeth. Maybe I've made them worse somehow.
After you made me laugh and I've lost my place again.
I've got one arm in there.
Oh man.
They've got like, they look like if a couch came to life, you know?
Yeah, exactly what
So I'm drawing some like
Comfy
creases. Yeah, like I'd totally go for one of those over like a leather couch. Jeez. I forgot to look at like whether they have any kind of tail going on. Did you clock that?
No, I'm afraid not. No.
I'm gonna take a guess. Just like a little. I gotta throw in some back legs now.
I've got to hedge my bet and start another one as well, like a 2. Well, obviously with my eyes closed still. I may have drawn them on top of each other. I don't know.
Oh,
This is not going.
I'm gonna move down.
I'm going to open up. Oh no! What a mess.
A little cute one, maybe, kind of on its back.
Oh god, that's a monstrosity.
Oh no!
Fun?
Yeah, definitely fun, but it looks like a child's drawing, dude. That's so cool. You know, like kids just don't care and they do stuff like small, like the scale is always weird and the face is tiny.
Yeah.
Like no matter how big their pen is, they like all the facial expressions overlap and stuff. And it's just
Yeah.
that's totally what it looks like.
It all goes over each other. At least yours looks like something. Mine's a real mess. It's not gone well. But good, right. I'm going to add a little bit of colour to this thing while you tell people at home where they can find your things, what they can buy from your store, and anywhere they can find you online.
Yeah, so I have the same username everywhere, which is Drawboy Shaunie, DrawBoySeanie. It's the same on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And my website is drawboyshaunie.com. And hey, there it is. Yeah, and I have a store. I couldn't tell you the the URL, to be honest, but if you go to my website, it links from there. And I've got a bunch of prints and zines and some enamel pins. And I think I'm running out of stickers and badges, so I shouldn't even mention them. But
What sort of enamel pins have you got?
Ooh, I've got them over here. I can show you.
Love an enamel pen.
Oh boy, the corner is so messy over there. I really hope it hasn't been visible. Yeah, so I got 3 pins that have made over the last couple of years. The first one was I don't know if you can see this, like a little shark.
Oh, cool! I love that.
And the second one was this like denim jacket, because that's where people wear pins, you know. Oh, sorry, my light's kind of bright.
That's very cool. I love that. It's so you. I'll be able to pick that out just from that.
Yeah, the third one is like, I don't know why, but it's a snake wrapped around a banana. It's like chrome, so it's kind of hard to show off.
Nice. Well, yeah, that's very cool.
My friend named it. I think the Photoshop file was like Sneck and Nana, and then he was like, "Oh, that's a banana conda, right?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, that's what I was thinking." Yeah. But yeah, those are my pins. I'd love to make another one, but like they're expensive, and
they are.
so you kind of you want to make sure that you'll at least cover costs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've done a few recently actually. I've done one for the second issue of Spring Hill Jack, which is really cool. I wish I could show it to you, but I have to do it as part of the unveiling when it comes out. But I will let you know once it's out, and I'm really pleased with it. But
That's great, because
it's so fun.
I don't know where you got them from, but typically there's like a 4-week wait. Is that the same?
Oh, easily. Yeah. That's
so
it.
I mean, luckily, I've been delighted with all of mine, but how disappointing would it be if you waited that long and then they showed up and you were like, there's a mistake, or whatever.
That would suck.
Yeah, because there's no kind of sending you a test pin or that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, you can't set the whole thing up just for one, just to see, can you?
Exactly. Yeah.
You're right.
So I would love to make more, just because I like pins a lot. But
I
really,
wear
it's
them
like
a lot, actually, as well. Yeah, they're nice things to have.
Yeah. I mean, when I used to leave my house, I would wear them. It's a bit different now, but maybe it's not enamel pin season, I guess. Maybe I could hold off on making a new one. But yeah, just picking out a design that I'm going to be happy with, given how expensive they are, is kind of tricky. So I think for the first one, I drew like 8 designs or something over a couple of months, and then picked the first one.
It's often the way, isn't it? Yeah, I think your creative tank, or how we put it earlier on, is often when it's fullest, you pull something out and you're like, that's it, that's great.
Yeah.
But I better do some more just in case.
That's the thing. You're told don't go with your first idea, but when you do it for long enough, you kind of develop an eye for design.
Definitely.
Your first idea is often the best, and then you're just doing
form, isn't it, of that what's in your head. It comes out. That's it. So after that, you're kind of going, okay, what else could I do to it?
I say that having had like 3 horrible first attempts at a unicorn, but but then my mind's eye then was literally empty, because like I was nervous starting.
You've been at work today as well, so you're running low on juices.
Yeah, I've always hated the phrase creative juices. It just makes me feel like slimy as a person.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I find like whatever you do your first idea, and then all the subsequent ideas are just like almost trying to prove that the first one was right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm not going to top
it. Look how wrong it's gone now.
Yeah.
I'll try it with a cowboy hat on.
That, as it happens, will improve most drawings.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, it just improved my tardigrade. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, nice. I'm not gonna leave it. I feel like I would. It's not.
It's pure. Yeah, no, don't.
Yeah.
Pure. We'll leave it. Good stuff. I cannot wait to see what you've done there. But all it remains for me to say is thank you so much for drawing with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure, Shaunie. Thank you very much.
Super fun, man. Thank you so much. It was a great. Geez, it was like an hour and a half. That flew by.
Yeah. It won't be on the vid. Don't worry.
Cool.
Take care.
Cool.
I've had a couple
moving.
go wrong.
Yeah, it's there's nothing worse than like realizing your mic died or whatever.
Exactly. And it's all like because it's all the processes of drawing, and that's what the video is a whole about. So you've drawn for an hour, and if you have visuals of that, you're like, I haven't got a video.